Hello, and welcome to UND's State of the University. My name is Mason Thingvold, and I serve as the Student Body President.
I'm Crystal Alberts, and I serve as the University Senate Chair.
And I'm Don Stopa, Staff Senate President. We are thankful that you could join us online and in person today. We are honored to stand here on behalf of UND's incredible students, faculty, and staff.
Over the past year, UND has reached exciting new milestones. We would like to take a moment to reflect on the remarkable achievements of the past year with this video presentation.
Lights on the asphalt, heartbeat like a drum, feet on the line, all the hush before we run. Maps of our fears folded small in our hands. We trade every maybe for the shape of our plans. Side by side, breathing. We rise when the count's begun. We run for the light, for the echo in our chest. Every step a story, every mile a test. Hands to the skyline, we won't settle for less. Wind pulls at our jackets, the city opens wide. Past lines in the sand where the timid used to hide. Sweat meets the soundtrack of a crowd in our bones. We push past the pause till our courage is known. The finish is distant, but the fire is on our side. If the night weighs heavy, hold my name like a light. We are more than the quiet that tries to steal the fight. One breath, one heartbeat, one voice in the roar. Together we climb and then we soar. We run for the light, for the echo in our chest. Every step a story, every mile a test. Hands to the skyline, we won't settle for less. This is our anthem, we rise and we run. This is our anthem, we rise and we run to the crest. This is our anthem, we rise and we run.
Last year's milestones reflect the dedication and service of the entire UND community, the everyday moments and connections that make our campus feel like home and help our students feel supported and connected.
Across the UND, service takes many forms, from the dining and residential communities students rely on, to the Wellness Center, Memorial Union, and hundreds of student organizations that create opportunities for connection, leadership, and belonging.
And when students need additional support, they have a network of people and resources ready to help them. From counseling to the university police, students can focus on learning while knowing they are supported along the way.
That also means making it easier for students to navigate the university and stay on track. Behind every successful student is a network of people working to answer questions, solve problems, and to help students move forward.
From academic advising and financial aid to admissions, one-stop student services, and technology, these teams provide connections and resources students need throughout their UND experience.
And that service extends to the spaces and technology students rely on every day, helping ensure that classrooms, connectivity, and campus resources are ready to support teaching, learning, and student success.
Service also means sharing what we create and discover at UND with the world. Our libraries, collections, and scholarly resources make the university's knowledge, research, and creative work accessible far beyond campus.
And through the Living Art Museum, that commitment comes directly in our campus spaces, giving students, faculty, and staff, and visitors opportunities to experience and engage what art is part of everyday campus life.
Much of that service makes UND function, happens quietly in the background. Facilities teams work through every season to keep our campus safe, accessible, welcoming, and beautiful.
Every graduate who crosses the commencement stage has been shaped by staff and faculty who have invested their time, expertise, and passion into their success. At UND, our mission comes to life through three commitments: educating students, advancing knowledge through research and creative activity, and serving our communities.
Last year, UND faculty, approximately 1,000 of us, provided around 953,000 hours of teaching activity or instruction. We produced more than 3,000 scholarly and creative works while conducting ongoing research and creative activity that shapes the way that we look at the world and enhances our quality of life. We also dedicated over 104,000 hours serving our university, our professions, and our communities across North Dakota and beyond.
Those aren't just impressive numbers, they're millions of moments spent educating, mentoring, and preparing future health providers, engineers, teachers, entrepreneurs, pilots, scientists, artists, and leaders.
Their hours invested in discoveries that improve lives, strengthen our economy, and address the challenges facing our state and our world. And they're a reflection of a community that believes education is more than earning a degree. It's about creating an opportunity and making a lasting difference.
Because when our faculty invest their time, our students gain confidence, our communities gain partners, and UND moves closer to fulfilling its mission of transforming lives through learning, discovery, and of course, service.
All of that hard work is reflected in the success of our students. Every student arrives with talent and ambition, but it's your mentorship, your teaching, your support, and your belief in what's possible to help turn that potential into achievement. This past year, our students accomplished extraordinary things.
Across campus, students are tackling real-world challenges through research, innovation, and creative problem-solving. From earning national recognition for scholarship in engineering ethics, to pioneering research that could help remove PFAS from drinking water, UND students are earning recognition for work that addresses challenges facing communities around the world.
UND students earned prestigious scholarships and fellowships, including Fulbright, Goldwater, and NSF Graduate Research Fellowships, as well as Access Lex Institute and Astronaut Scholarship Awards. They also benefited from North Dakota's first NSF Research Traineeship supporting graduate research. Beyond academics, students earned national recognition in law, an Emmy Award for the student-run Aerospace Network, and international honors for storytelling and engagement.
Our student athletes also excelled in competition, in the classroom, and on the world stage. UND teams celebrated conference championships, another appearance to the Frozen Four, a return to the FCS playoffs, and one of the best track and field seasons in program history. Individual student athletes earned All-American honors, national academic recognition, and even represented their countries at the Olympic Games.
SMHS Match Day once again reminded us why our health sciences programs are so important. 70 medical students matched into residency programs, nearly half entering primary care, while more than 200 graduates in medicine, physician assistant, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and medical laboratory sciences are now beginning careers that will improve lives across our region and beyond.
These accomplishments reflect the dedication of our faculty and staff, the opportunities created by our supporters and alumni, and a university where students don't just prepare for the future, they help shape it.
As we reflect on the past year, one thing stands out above all else. Our greatest achievement isn't found in any single milestone or metric, but in the people who made them possible. That is the vision of UND in action, people inspiring a sense of wonder, fostering a love of discovery, and strengthening our commitment to serve.
We would now like to invite President Armacost to the stage to help us unveil a special representation of UND's spirit of collaboration and shared purpose, our community quilt. Over the past year, students, faculty, and staff contributed individual squares, each reflecting a unique story, perspective, or connection to UND. On their own, each piece is meaningful. Together, they create something stronger and more beautiful, much like the community we build together at UND.
Great, thanks. Well, it's awesome that each of you chose to be here today. And hopefully I do justice to this past year of the University of North Dakota's tremendous successes. And in addition, what we're looking forward to in the future. And how about this quilt? That's not the real one. That's not the real one. These are copies. The real quilt is actually, it's an amazing work of art. Came through the hands of many people, but it's in the back of the room, and you'll have the opportunity at the end of today's State of the University address to check it out. And then there's also 2 electronic kiosks where you can click on the elements of the quilt and learn the story behind why each individual unit who created one of the squares chose the art that they did. So it's an amazing opportunity. So at the end of today, please absolutely take a look to make that happen. All right, so let's see if I can get the technology. So first and foremost, thanks to Crystal, Don, and Mason for their amazing introduction to today's event. How about a round of applause for the 3 of them? And it's not just for being here today. They're stepping up. They're taking the mantle of leadership as part of our incredible shared governance processes here at the University of North Dakota. So thanks to the 3 of them for all that they're doing. The quilt, as I said, take a look at the end of it today. There's a number of people who have been involved, and I thank them. Many of them are here today, and their names are up here. But Stacy Borboa-Peterson and Shelby King took the chair roles of this amazing community project. They stepped up from the time we mentioned it at last year's State of the University address. And then immediately, when we had our opening kickoff, 2 people came running up to me, and that was Whitney Mayo and Mary Kirby, who said, we're in, we're quilters, we want part of this. And so I'm grateful for them serving on the quilt committee as well. And then Darren Burry, shortly thereafter, came forward and said, I've got some talents too that we can take advantage of. So I'm grateful to those 3, and of course, Tamaqui Bailey for taking the idea and helping to foster the idea into reality as well. How about a round of applause for all of them? All right. Okay, get ready. You're going to clap a lot today. Eric, I'm not going to say it, but you're going to clap. You're going to get calluses and blisters on your hands. And then from the local community, many people came forward to make this happen as well, including the North Star Quilters Guild, the Quilters JEM, Katie Chambliss, the Graduate Students Association, Brooks Tulo, who's a student community builder, and then, of course, the Quilt Point people. But I also have to mention Karen Nyberg. Does anyone know who Karen Nyberg is? UND's astronaut, right? She has been into space fairly recently. She's a quilter. She's the first person ever to quilt in space. And when she came, literally, and when she came back, she decided to start a line of quilting fabrics. And so those fabrics are actually based on images that she had snapped from space, images of water, of land, of mountains, of clouds. And so many of her fabrics were used in the construction of the quilt. So look carefully when you take a look later for her work, her art as well. And we informed Karen about this project a few months ago, and she was so proud to be part of it. The campus is doing awesome. As you know, amazing growth in the size of our campus. Of course, that means challenges, but 15,844, an all-time record for enrollments. 2,508 first-year students, an all-time record, and 93% retention from fall to spring. That's either at or near the all-time record. So what this means is many people are choosing the University of North Dakota to get their education and to begin their journey in life with what we give them in their academics, in their development as human beings. And so we're so proud. How about a round of applause to all of you? You all made this happen. We can talk about the work in admissions. We can talk about the work in marketing and communications. We can talk about the work that's happening across all units, student affairs, academic affairs, housing and dining, all of you. Every single person in this room, this is your outcome. So congratulations. Very proud of you all. We have some new faces in the crowd as well, and one who's not, his face isn't here, but his presence is. That's my new boss. We seldom introduce our bosses outside of the institution, but Brent Sanford, former lieutenant governor, is now our commissioner of higher education. He's doing a remarkable job, great vision, great engagement with all the campuses, great leadership, and great connection with all the elected leaders across the state of North Dakota. So Brent is an amazing person leading, and he's just doing a really incredible job in his first year. I'd also like to introduce 2 folks on our campus, 2 new deans. Del Crandall joins us after a almost 4-decade career in the U.S. Navy. He was the senior judge advocate for the entire Navy. So he brings amazing experience. Del, it's great to have you. Why don't you stand up and receive a round of applause? Thank you. And then Soo-Jung Kim, who is the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies, has been a long-term faculty member and department chair in the Department of Communications, and so she steps up into the permanent role of Dean of the School of Graduate Studies. We're really proud of her as well. Soo-Jung, I don't know if you're here today. I think you are. Good. Thank you. Good to see you. I'd also like to take, I didn't put his face up here. His face has been on the screen before, but double thanks to Dean Pat O'Neill. He's serving in the interim role in the Nistler College of Business and Public Administration. I'm grateful for his service, his generous service to all of us. And so, Pat, if you're here, thank you so much for what you're doing, Pat. Okay, great, good to see you. All right, I said there'd be a lot of clapping. We'll slow down on the clapping here in a little bit. I also wanted to introduce Carla Mojon Stewart. Stepped down and she went to the system office. She was our vice president for finance and operations. And now we have three exceptionally generous leaders who were all AVPs, but now they're interim vice presidents, and they have various roles: HR, operations, and finance. And so let me offer my thanks to Peggy Varberg, Odella Fuqua, and Rodney Clark. If they're here, please stand. Round of applause. They are. Wow. And they're like evenly spaced, right? That's great. Well coordinated. There's many opportunities for us to offer something special to our students. Here you see a list of new programs from adult gerontology to an accelerated bachelor or master's program in biomedical engineering, a new joint criminal justice JD program, helicopter operations over at the Odegaard School, and our new real estate program, which begins this year, the BBA in real estate. I saved one for last, but we launched a new department. The School of Medicine and Health Sciences, under the direction of Dean Marjorie Jenkins, launched a new dermatology program. So this will be dermatology clinicals. It's great to bring dermatology to a sunny state where many people work outside. Think about it, right? Anyhow, thanks to you for your leadership. In addition, our students are doing amazing things in terms of their service. On the left is a picture from the long-produced event called The Big Event. It's a student-run philanthropy where students fan out across the city of Grand Forks and the region, and they do just simply stunning work, very generous work to support community members. It was founded in 2004. Christy Okerlund is here. Christy is part of the founding of this event, and her student co-chairs, Emily Kinsler and Bryn Bothy, did an amazing job this year. And to the entire Division of Student Affairs, thanks for pulling this big event off year in and year out. So how about a round of applause for them? All right, I'm going to wear you out with the clapping, I know. And then in addition, the athletic programs under the direction of Bill Chaves, and specifically Tyler Burmeister, has done amazing work in terms of their service to the community. They've won the Helper Award in 8 of the last 10 years. We're 5th in the nation among all NCAA Division I schools in terms of total community service hours. That's stunning when you consider the size and scope of some other athletic programs. They commit to service. And that's not just Bill and Tyler, that's the coaches and the assistant coaches and the staff members who say, it's not just about the sports. It's about being good human beings, because that's what we do at the University of North Dakota. So I'm really proud of them. How about a round of applause? The legislature did some amazing things to us in the last session, great support, but they placed an expectation. They did something to it. Sounded terrible the way I said that. They issued a demand of the School of Medicine and Health Sciences, and that was to increase the number of students in their program who come from the state of North Dakota residents. And so Dean Jenkins Marjorie and her team did an amazing job in the first year to year and a half to increase the percentage from 53% North Dakota residents in the program to 82%. It was going to be 83.2%, but one of our graduates, or one of our new students, first-year students, had to step away. And that's because she's representing the state of North Dakota in the Miss America pageant. So true story, Emma Tong is her name, and so she'll be on campus in the fall of 27. So we're so excited. And thanks also to Jim Porter and Emily Evers for their leadership of the admissions program in SMHS. So well done to all. Our students are doing amazing things. The previous speakers talked about Mason. You did a great job highlighting what the students are doing. I wanted to highlight a few. One of our PhD students, Walter Carroll, was a deployed Army soldier overseas. He was deployed when he started his program, PhD program at UND in 2014. He was deployed to Poland during the Ukraine-Russia war right as it began. It disrupted, but the Department of Communications stepped up to help him get through, and in December, he graduated with his PhD in communications. So that's an amazing story. In the lower left, you see Paige Jones. Paige is a UND PhD student in biomedical engineering, and Paige represents the United States in the ski jump. She hails from Park City, and if you've been to Park City, there's a couple big ski jumps there. She trains, she lives there, and she's also a fighting hawk. She represents the University of North Dakota on the biggest stage. And then on the right is Casey Steinhaus. Casey is among many awards that she's received, has recently earned the Astronaut Fellowship. So this is a fellowship provided for potential future astronauts, sponsored by the Astronaut Foundation. An amazing program. She's exceptionally talented. And of course, her talent brought her there, but it was the support of folks like her professor, Bryce Christopherson, who make those opportunities happen. Casey is a double physics math major and just represents the university so well. And if that's not enough, she's also a national champion air rifle shooter as well. So who knew that we had a team like that? But Casey is a team of one, and she is absolutely a stunning human being. How about a round of applause for all three? I've talked about this program in the past, and that's our journalism program. It's now, I think we're in our second or third year. We've grown from 14 to 32 students. You see Maddie Dame, Maddie Dame, who was our first graduate of our kind of resurrected journalism program. This program, if you think about it, the role of journalism in this modern day of technology and AI and literally fake news is something that we've committed to as an institution. So kudos to our Department of Communications for bringing that program back and making a difference in the world. In addition, I should highlight the Department of Communications having two other big roles as well. For the last 5 years, they've offered a digital storytelling camp for high school students to teach them the power of telling their stories in the digital media. So very, very important community service item for them. And then in addition, they've developed a Constitution Day digital and video exhibition that was presented here at UND before our naturalization ceremonies on Constitution Day. And then in addition, it was just presented at the governor's, on the 18th floor of the state capitol, and with a reception at the governor's house, where the First Lady, who participated in the project, and the governor participated in this event. So how about a round of applause for the work that they've been doing? I saw Chelsea Mellentine. She's standing in the back. She is the director of our Experiential Learning Center. And so the provost and his office launched this conglomeration, this connection of activities that relate to student internships, career placement, undergraduate research, and other high-impact learning opportunities for our students. And their office has had engagement with 4,300 students in general to bring people in, and over 1,500 students who have actually participated in high-impact learning opportunities through the Experiential Learning Center. In addition, the picture you see there is from an event called, I forget the name, it's on my notes down here, the Research Grand Journey event, and it was a way to expose students to the possibilities of undergraduate research. Huge opportunity. So speaking of research, I should also mention how we're doing globally across the campus in terms of our campus's research. Think back to 2020. Our total external research funding was $110 million. This past year, it was $244 million. And that's for work that's spanned, how about a round of applause? There we go. This happens because of the faculty and the researchers across the campus who have great ideas. They have great senses of innovation and discovery, whether it's at the EERC, Charlie, it's good to see you, whether it's in the world of unmanned and autonomous aircraft, whether it's in medicine, whether it's in the humanities and social sciences. The work on our campus is absolutely stunning, and we should be proud of it. Money isn't the only way to measure the impact that we're having, right? It's It's the contributions to society, to the very humanity of who we are that really matters, and UND positions itself right at the top with respect to that. So great work there, and really proud of what we're doing for the sense of discovery, one of our core values under UND Leads. So I also wanted to talk about an effort that many of you have been involved in, and that's digital accessibility. Really an important part of what we're doing. And I thank Donna Smith and Judy Risch for their service on the steering committee. And the real key to this is Sarah Kaiser, who chairs the working group. And the vision that they have for digital accessibility is really important for our campus. And you might say, why is it important? It's important because the university prides itself on making it accessible to everyone. That's the concept of equity, right? The fairness and the opportunity that we present to every potential student and anybody who engages with the University of North Dakota. Digital accessibility is a subset of our total accessibility efforts, and we've committed, because it's the right thing to do, it's also legally required, right? So, right, they extended the legal deadline till next year, but we're marching towards that deadline and making sure that we're doing the things that are expected of us as an institution of higher education. And so I'm so proud of the work that they've done. I'm also proud of the work, one of the most front-facing areas of digital presentation is our website. And so I'm really grateful for Tara Buckley and Amy Halstenson for their work on the web and bringing it up to where it needs to be. One example is there's a measurement of AI or compatibility for accessibility, and the measures have just been growing steadily and they're at all-time level highs, but we're really proud of the work that Tara and Amy have done to get us there on the website. And then in addition, additional work is going on, both within College of Arts and Sciences and the College of Education and Human Development. And here we have 12 graduate students who have been hired to do digital accessibility, to update our materials within those two colleges, and to set an example for the rest of the campus about how you do captioned videos and how you remediate documents that aren't digitally accessible so that those who need that remediation can access our materials. And then in the coming months, the big challenge has been documents, you know them, PDFs, right, which are notoriously hard to achieve digital accessibility. And so we've purchased a new tool, and we'll be offering training sessions and support to make sure people know how to take advantage of that tool so that PDFs can then be made digitally accessible. And that little icon, I don't have a laser, do I? Is there a laser on this? Tyler, is there a laser? Where, up at the top? I don't want to blind anyone. Oh, there it is. See that little, can you see the red dot? Okay, good. Sometimes it's hard to see. That little icon, I just want you to understand, there are tools on your computer that exist today. All you have to do is turn them on. They're called accessibility checkers. I have mine on in Word and PowerPoint and Excel and Outlook. And it puts a little icon next to this little somewhat human-looking artifact. It puts it on your screen and it says, I see an issue. And you click on it and it either tells you what's wrong or it immediately offers solutions to you. And you click a few times and voila, there it is. Your document is closer to being fully digital accessible. All right, so just know, you can do that too. And so as we build digital accessibility, it's about a mindset, it's about creating the habits. Just when you get used to doing it, it's easy. There are some things that are hard. I get it. I see the faces. It's not easy, they're saying to me. But you can take steps to kind of recondition how we approach the topic. All right, so that's pretty cool. Oops, I keep hitting the laser button now. That's not good. Look, my wife Kathy is sitting in the front. How about a round of applause for the first spouse of UND? I know, everybody was saying, when is he going to introduce Kathy? But Kathy, of course, is just such a wonderful leader on our campus and the love of my life, who makes sure that on those tough days when we're struggling with stuff, there's always a voice and an ear to listen. We all have a person, hopefully we all have a person in our life like Kathy. Thank you for being here. Okay, so let's focus on the upcoming year, shall we? We have pictures of students. They are about to show up, people, in case you didn't know. Right? we don't know how many, but we'll be up around, who knows, somewhere between 0 and 1 million. Janelle Kilgore encourages me, do not utter a number, right? But when we see pictures of students walking on our campus, just know all the work that goes to getting them here. And specific thanks to our Division of Student Affairs and Art Malloy and Cassie Gerhart for your leadership of orientation and your entire team. We welcome them, and we hear from students and family members about the warm embrace they feel when they come and they see the generosity of so many people on the campus. So thanks to all those folks, Troy Noldner in housing, Orlin Rasassin, and if I start naming people, I'm going to forget somebody. That's the downside, but I do have to offer my thanks. Alec Pokernowski and his whole units of the care that we give to our students. They do an amazing job. How about a round of applause for Student Affairs? Okay. All right, so anybody have a statistics background? Raise your hand. 1. What's the likelihood of that? All right. It's a statistics joke. Wah, wah, dad joke. Okay, so, all right. So this is the graph from the previous years. We came out of the pandemic with slow, like sub 1% growth, and shazam, it happened, right? All the work, selling the story of the University of North Dakota and the great things that are happening here took root. Students have said what captures them are the spaces and places that we have on the campus, the amazing programs that we offer, and then in addition, the affordability. And all of these things are made possible through the generosity of many people. And I'll get to that in just one moment. But we don't know what the number is. I'm not going to make a prediction because last year at this presentation, I said 15,500. And look, it went higher. So if I picked a number, it would be wrong. But it doesn't really matter what the number is. It matters what we're delivering to our students. It matters the care and the values that we put into the classroom and to make sure that they're all taken care of as humans. I wanted to highlight the great work of our Department of Athletics. So Bill Chaves, Eric Martinson, you're both here. Thanks for your leadership and making sure that we're doing athletics competitively, but doing it the right way. And in this challenging time, if you haven't read the news, the NCAA is a little haywire right now. Just a lot of changing factors and changing policies, and we're hoping to get greater clarity soon. But for now, Bill has led with a great strategic vision. So Bill, thanks so much for your hard work. There we go. And there's teams and teams of people behind Bill who make it happen. All the staff members, the assistant coaches, and the head coaches. And I wanted to draw your attention to our newest head coach for our volleyball team, and that's David Wynn, who comes from Fairleigh Dickinson University, and he had an amazing record, Coach of the Year in his conference, and he's coming to join us. He came last winter to join us here at UND. So David, I don't know if he's here, but I really appreciate you joining our team. I also want to thank all the things that I've talked about. The great things, the scholarships, the support to students, the support to faculty, the research opportunities are all buttressed and supported by the work of the UND Alumni Association and Foundation. And what you see here is the logo of our Forever UND campaign. That's what it was when we launched it. And we launched it publicly in the fall of 2023 with a goal of $500 million. Now you might say, $500 million, that's a lot of money. You can just pay for everything on the campus, right? But the donors make magic happen in the following general types of areas. Scholarships for our students, endowed faculty positions to promote excellence in the way that we educate our students. Facilities, many of the facilities that you see growing on campus are the result of generous donors. And then, in addition, support to programs, academic programs, research programs, et cetera. It makes a difference. And today, I don't think Deanna Carlson-Zink is here, but she deserves a round of applause. But I also wanted to introduce Deanna's deputy, Mike Manassa, who is here to represent the foundation. So Mike, thank you. All right, I'm not able to predict students for the semester, but I am allowed to predict the total amount. No, not that either. But keep in mind, we set a goal of $500 million. We exceeded that 20 months early. And we set another goal of 625. So amazing work by all of those who support the University of North Dakota. And it enables things like this, these projects. You see, well, the bookstore, I just put it up there as a shameless advertising plug. That's where it is now. It's on the corner of University and Columbia, in the corner of the Field House, which is the apartment complex there. So visit it. It's a great, convenient location, easier to get to than its old location. And then we have a number of projects. You see them there, the Flight Ops building, the new STEM complex, which is being constructed off to my left, the Health Professions Edition, which is in concept right now. We've done architectural work and design work, but we're hoping for the legislature to jump in and say, let's make that one happen too. So I need to thank the folks who have put their heart and soul behind all of those efforts. And in addition, the work that we're now undertaking for the new campus plan. The direction that our campus has gone physically was the result of a strategic campus plan that was built in 2016. We're now 10 years beyond that. We've achieved probably 90% of the items on that plan. And so it's important for us to now lay down the plan for the next 10 or 15 years. And so in working with Perkins and Will, we are developing that plan. There's a great committee that's been working. Thanks to Les Biore, Anna Clark for chairing the committee, for Eric Link and Carla Stewart at the time, but Rodney Clark for their oversight and leadership at the strategic level. This is going to be an amazing plan with some great ideas, recognizing, of course, that we don't know the long-term results of enrollment. We don't know about state funding, so we have to be ambitious and cautious and know how we're going to get there. But the creativity that's emerging through these processes has been stunning. In addition, at the strategic level, there's been work on, I think I forgot to thank a few people. So Les again, I got them. Under all of these projects, Brian Larson is probably here somewhere. Brian is our construction lead for the campus. He and Tom Burris and Les do amazing work for us, so my gratitude to them as well. Next, the State Board of Higher Education is undergoing a strategic review to better understand how it should position itself for the future. So think about this. We have 11 schools across the state, and what we're hoping to do is connect them more strongly as a system and to be able to sell to the citizens of North Dakota the immense value that each of the 11 schools has to their communities and to their citizens. It's an amazing way to think about that connection. In other words, when I speak about UND, it should follow my discussions about the value of a four-year higher education degree, and it should follow a statement to the citizens of North Dakota about the power of what we have in state. And then I can talk about UND. I'm proud of what we do, but I also need to connect it to the broader picture. And so the effort of this State Board of Higher Education effort, this strategic review, is to figure out how we do that, how we connect better, and how we design the organizational structures differently to make that happen. That should wind up probably in the October or November timeframe, and we'll keep the campus posted about how that plays out. Hey, back on enrollment, I've just checked my notes. I wanted to call out that graph that went right up. I told you about generally who's been working on it, which offices, but I need to thank Jen Ahmet and Janelle Kilgore for their incredible work on admissions and enrollment management, and also Melanie Linder-Mecklenburg for her work with architecting a vision of how we sell the case of the university. How about a round of applause for those three? Okay, I should talk a little bit about legislative priorities. You can tune in on closed circuit TV, on cable. It's like watching, I don't know, it's like Wayne's World, right? Sort of. Not really. But you can tune in and watch each legislative session. State government has made it very easy for you to get involved and to understand what's going on. The legislative priorities that we're going to be talking about include the following. Focusing on, again, as a system, how do we ensure we have strong funding for higher ed across the board? The state has been strong with us for the last couple sessions, and we hope that that continues as well. We want to make sure we get that funding for that health professions building that I mentioned earlier. We want to stabilize research funding for the state, and we had a very detailed plan beginning 8 years ago for state support through what's known as the Legacy Fund to support the research enterprises at the two research schools, UND and NDSU. We want to convey the importance of higher education institutions to the legislature so they understand the value that we offer. We want to reinforce principles of academic freedom, which in the last 3 sessions we've been certain to do when policies or proposed legislation comes forward that runs afoul of what we think are good practices for higher ed and the commitment to academic freedom and free speech on our campuses. We've stood up, and we'll continue to do that to make sure that that voice continues. We want to celebrate our service to the state. Our legislators are certainly looking to us to make sure that we're supporting the workforce and making a difference in the citizenry of the state of North Dakota. And challenges and opportunities that we face, of course. And the first one is going to be too narrow. But federal research funding, it seemed like over the last year and a half, there are announcements that come out of the blue that say, we're cutting funding from the following agency. Here's some good news. The announcements have come out. We wait patiently. We advocate to key people. And not always, but in many cases, good results happen for the university, right? So we can get flustered, we can get angry, we can say, wow, we didn't expect that. That's going to impact our portfolios. But just know that we are working things behind the scenes to make sure that what's in the best interest of research programs and discovery and the University of North Dakota, that voice is being heard by key players in the National Capital Region. So I thank several people for their work here, Charlie Gorecki from the EERC and Scott Snyder from the VP, he's our VPR, Vice President for Research. They've done exceptional work on addressing federal research funding. In addition, federal loan funding, a lot of uncertainty about things like Grad Plus and Parent Plus loans. So great work by Janelle Kilgore and Matt Lukács and others to keep tabs on that and to better understand. And I know TRIO programs were also kind of under assault for a while, and Derek Sporbort has been giving us so much good information about how to respond and how to engage our federal delegation. So I'm really proud of that. International student visas, our international center with Manuela Gabriel has done amazing work in terms of broadcasting information to the students and the faculty members who need that information, so I'm grateful to her as well. We have the North Dakota Higher Education Funding Formula that I mentioned Carla Stewart, but Odell Fuqua is doing amazing work to present that to the legislature. So we need to make sure they understand how to best, we believe, fund higher ed. Of course, growing pains across the campus. How about you all stand up? You all know it affects everybody here. When you have more students, it requires more effort on our part. And sometimes that sense of, I don't know, generosity, all of a sudden it gets a little harder because you're like, wow, there's now instead of 10 students in my class, there's 15. Or instead of 20 advising appointments today, I've got 22. So I thank each and every one of you for what you've done to respond to the growing pains. And in addition, we're trying our best to keep up with increasing the number of people that we have to be here to support the services that our students need. And then, of course, opportunities and challenges with AI, and I'll hold off on that until a later slide. But these are all things that we're looking at. There might be other opportunities and challenges that you see. Bring those to our attention if there's really some tough touch points that you see that you think we need to address. And often when you see reductions in funding, you say, how do we get through it? I just want to stress the importance of partnerships. Partnerships to create research programs, partnerships to create new academic programs across universities, partnerships across the state to make sure the citizens, the students who are coming from North Dakota get a great experience by potentially moving from one school to another. Partnerships with our local vendors and our community organizations that allow us to do what we do as a campus and to be remarkable citizens within our host city of Grand Forks. These partnerships are vital. I wanted to share with you a story about one particular partnership. It's one example of when we reach out and bring people to our campus, interesting things happen. As part of our National Security Speaker Series, we invited Ben Davies from Northrop Grumman. He runs their defense sector. Gave an amazing speech, but more importantly, he engaged with many researchers from across the campus to understand the work that's happening here at UND. That led to visits with us, with him and his staff in Washington, D.C., which led to additional discussions and ultimately a sequence of visits that are just now starting to go underway for them to come back and to hear about more of the opportunities to collaborate. There's been at least one direct benefit to those discussions, and that was a brave student who stood up and asked about internships when he was visiting, earned an internship with Northrop Grumman. So power to the bold, right? Step up and speak your piece. But these These types of gatherings, think about it. We bring people to our campus and show off what we do here at UND. Think about the Writers' Conference and the literary expertise that converges on Grand Forks to be part of that. Think about our space operations or our stratospheric operations symposia that we offer, our IEEE symposia that we offer. It brings expertise to the University of North Dakota. They see what each of you do, and they see the value of what we do on this campus and the beauty of our campus. And they always say, we had no idea. And so it's up to us to keep filtering or keep bringing those people to our campus to say, we do real work. We impact not just the state, but we impact the world. And it happens because of our faculty, because of our staff, because of everybody's contribution across this campus. And speaking of bringing people here, our Eye of the Hawk speaker series, which the first one, Rob, is School of Law, right? School of Law and School of Business, College of Engineering, and College of Arts and Sciences. We'll have a sequence of presentations sponsored by the Provost's office that will enable us to bring world-class speakers to the campus and, again, showcase what UND is all about and also to hear from their expertise, all right? So Eye of the Hawk, it's coming up. Pay attention to the advertisements. Last time I talked about moonshots, right? The idea of doing some big ideas. And the moonshots that we talked about, does anybody remember them? Kathy knows because I talk about them all the time. Yeah, the moonshots. So one was about AI and one was about innovation. So I wanted to give you a quick update on where we are with respect to those moonshots, because not only is it work that's happened, but it's also plans for the upcoming year. So the first one, putting humanity in AI. And I have to say this, there's going to be a lot of angst on our campus about AI. We know it, we hear it. People are asking lots of questions about how does it impact the way that I teach? How does it impact my students? How does it impact my research? How does it impact our operations? How do we do it ethically? How do we have the right guidelines in place? What tools are you going to provide to us? How are we going to pay for this? It goes on, right? Think about the complexity. You read in the newspapers every single day something about AI, about the status of the economic status of the companies, the big companies that are creating the foundational models, and then small companies that are either succeeding or failing. It's a whirlwind. It's really tough to keep up with. So what we're trying to do is actually create systems to be able to keep up with it. First, I wanted to highlight some of the experts who are doing work within AI. This is not a comprehensive list. It's a handful of people among many people on the campus who are touching AI. And here you see Justin Montaigne, who was a keynote speaker at our recent conference for AI and human innovation. Emily Cherry Oliver, of course, is the director of that initiative, along with Anna Kinney. But Emily, thanks for all your hard work and bringing that and keeping the humanities and the human piece, the arts, at the center of our discussions of AI. In addition, Munas Alamoudi received a big nod within the national publication Inside Higher Ed, who was talking about STEM education and the impact of AI on STEM education. Important work. Jailun Zhang was granted a research grant from something called the Genesis Project, which is one of the biggest federal initiatives on AI that we've ever, I think it's the biggest we've ever seen, where they're creating an AI computational infrastructure to solve some of the toughest problems that exist in the world. And so he's doing work on battery design using AI. It's an amazing opportunity for UND to be on the national stage. And then finally, Tugba Bose just received, this was announced about 2 weeks ago, she's the principal investigator for a National Science Foundation grant on how AI can be taught or developed within career and technical education. So it presents a huge opportunity with our connection to CTE, and Tugba's out of the College of Education and sorry, frog in my throat, and human development. So CEHD has a great group of people looking at instructional design and how AI fits within that. Excuse me one sec. Okay, so that spirit of kind of a groundswell of understanding of AI and discussion and active debate about the pros and cons and the critique and the support of AI is happening through a group called Co-AI. It's the AI Collective. And I'm grateful for the work of Anna Kinney, for Rick Van Eck, and for Shri Nuthulapati, who is new to our team. Those three are doing amazing work as the working group. It's overseen by a steering group that consists of Eric Link, myself, Scott Snyder, and Madhavi Marasinga. The idea here is to explore all aspects of AI, the pros and the cons, and to have you, the campus, better understand the impact of AI and what we do here at the University of North Dakota. The second moonshot, innovation everywhere, all at once, is an attempt to better unify all of the innovation and entrepreneurship activities that are happening on our campus. One area of this is our receipt of an important designation. We are now one of 80 schools that are designated by the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities as an IEP designee, and that's innovation and economic prosperity. And the goal here is to demonstrate how we have and will assure economic development based on the expertise that exists on our campus. And so the work on this, there we go. The work on this was led by two co-chairs, Courtney Jensen and Jason Jensen, no relationship, they've done incredible work to report and describe and to achieve this designation through the APLU. So how about a round of applause for them? Okay, and then a big event happening coming up is based on what's called our Innovation Moonshot Summer Accelerator. We have a group of, I think it's 10 groups who have technology created as part of our research program, so intellectual property that's been created here at UND, and they're exploring how on earth do we commercialize it? How do we find a place for it in the commercial marketplace? And then also, how do we potentially start new companies based on that technology? And if you remember, the purpose of the moonshot was to close that gap. I feel that we've had a large number of opportunities that potentially have been missed, where we have technology and research that's done, but we don't capitalize upon it. So this is the attempt to do that. And so I'm grateful to Amy Whitney and her team for making that happen. And then an advertisement for all of you, that the liftoff event, where we showcase those 10 research projects, happens today at 4:30. So, hey, you can come here, you can go to a picnic, you can take a nap, and then you can go to the showcase. Sounds like a good plan. All right. So you can scan the QR code if you need more, but it's open to all. You're all invited. It'll be a really exciting event. I wanted to close this presentation by talking about the words of the year that we've adopted in past years, and to present this year's word of the year, which I've used a bunch of times today. And it's not the or whatever. You'll find out in a moment. But recall why we do these. We have this amazing UND Leads strategic vision that talks about our core values. But sometimes kind of in between those core values, or to enhance those core values, we can pick a word that means something, that demonstrates some characteristic of our campus that we want to celebrate, or and sometimes enhance. And here are the 4 words that we've chosen in the past. Year 1 was gratitude. Year 2 was connection. Year 3 was momentum. And year 4 was community. And so this year, what we've decided to do is pick a word that connects to the many aspects and core values of the strategic plan: learning, equity, affinity, discovery, and service. And when we think about what we do as a campus, and how with all your hearts you give to your students, you give to one another, you make a difference, and whether it's your time or talent, you do some amazing things. In fact, you're quite generous. And so this year, we're going to celebrate the year of generosity. And I began earlier by talking about the generosity shown by donors to give to the students and the faculty and the staff here at the University of North Dakota. But that's not what this generosity is. This is not a plea for more money, right? This is a celebration of the generosity shown by others, the generosity shown by you to your students, to your peers, to your colleagues, to the community, and the many things that you do. I think it's a great way to go into the new academic year and say, let's relish the generosity that we see on a daily basis. Let's celebrate it. Let's be proud of it. And we always choose an art form. Last year, what was it? It was a quilt. We're about to take a look at the quilt in its great presence in the back corner of the room. But this year, the art form is pottery. And specifically, it's pottery by Margaret Kelly Cable, who was a noted artist stationed here at the University of North Dakota, stationed, Air Force, right? Who was here at the University of North Dakota for over 3 decades in the 20s, 30s, kind of spanning the Great Depression. And she did amazing things. She established our world-class pottery program. How many people knew of Cable's pottery? Raise your hand. So less than a third, right? So now you've all learned something. UND is known for its pottery. It's known for its pottery through Margaret Cable and her work. And in addition, she was known to be an exceptionally generous person. So think about the Great Depression. She owned a house. She had to sell it. She had an apartment here. And she said, wow, we've lost all funding for our art program. I'm going to set it up in my apartment. And so she single-handedly, from what I understand, kept the art program alive here at UND because of her generous spirit and her willingness to give to others. In addition, she was known to be giving of her time around the nation, around the world, to produce works of art and to demonstrate her craft so that others could do the same. So, word of the year is generosity. The art form is Cable pottery, which is here at the University of North Dakota. And that legacy, of course, continues as we think about the great art and design program that we have here. And we have a ceramicist, Wesley Smith, on our faculty who does great work. And this will undoubtedly lift his opportunity to be recognized for his art, carrying on the rich tradition of Margaret Kelly Cable. I also have to thank Sarah Heidkamp for what she does to beautify our campus. I don't know if Sarah's here today, but the artwork that you see in all public spaces is the result of Sarah's vision and her leadership. Finally, before I get off the stage, I just wanted to remind you and connect all that we talked about today to our strategic vision, UND Leads. Whether it's learning, equity, affinity, discovery, or service, these are the pillars that guide our activities on the campus. I'm grateful to folks like Ryan Zier, who our AVP for strategic plan and implementation, and his whole implementation team that has representation from our shared governance bodies and also across the campus. They do amazing work in terms of tracking the progress that we're making towards achieving the items and the core values in this strategic plan. So how about a round of applause for all those folks? And we have a picnic. We have a chance to get out of what we're currently wearing. Oh, maybe you wore what you're wearing to the picnic. That's fine too. You all look great. But I'm going to change when I get back to the house. But we're going to have a great chance just to get to know one another. You have a homework problem. When you're there, you have to meet 10 people that you don't know. Somebody laughed. It's easy, right? Introduce yourself. This is who we are as a university community. One that reaches out to each other, one that takes care of each other, one that celebrates the great successes, and one that helps each other through even when the times aren't so great. So let's go over, let's have an amazing time at the picnic. And before we do that, I wanted to offer my thanks, public thanks to the people who made today happen. Most importantly, Jess Kinneberg, who's sitting in the back. She's the person who makes all of the beautiful slides and graphics, and she's been very patient with me and my staff as we piece together this presentation today. So how about a round of applause for Jess? And then I'm just going to run through a list. Melanie Linder-Mecklenburg, Joe Banish, Matt Schill, Matt Gershevsky, Anna Clark, Jeanette Gratton, Rob Carolyn, Laura McDaniel. Thanks to each of them, and also thanks to the Memorial Union and the staff that has made today happen. Thanks to the catering staff who's going to be feeding you when you come over for the picnic, and also to the many people from the facilities team who have taken care of all of our facilities on campus, but in particular today, they did the setup for today's picnic. So I appreciate each and every one of them. There's a QR code here. I mentioned each of the squares, and I think our speakers did as well. Each of the squares has a story These squares are kind of abstract representations of how each unit on our campus connects themselves to the vision and the mission of the University of North Dakota. Some are not obvious. So if you click on them on the electronic touchboards in the back, or if you scan the QR code, you can do it on your phone, you will get the story of why those units chose the images that they did and how they connect to the University of North Dakota. It's an amazing piece of art, and I thought you'd appreciate the chance to be able to do that. Well, folks, it begins on Saturday. How many students are arriving? Who knows? It's going to be a lot. But I appreciate everything that you do. Let's execute this year. Let's run with each other through the excitement and the opportunity to do great things for our students, to apply that spirit of generosity to those around us, and to make UND just a fantastic place to work and to be and to learn. Have a great day.